Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This was and is a special episode to me. It is the 100th legitimate episode of According to Callus. Apparently I have more than 100 episodes actually uploaded, but of the actual numbered episodes, this is 100. So, rather than celebrate me and how awesome I think I am that I got 100 episodes, well, anybody that knows me knows that was clearly supposed to have been a joke. I'm going to talk about a couple of different things. First and foremost, a couple changes going forward. I've been haphazardly, which is almost not at all, numbering these episodes. Starting next week, I will do my very best to make sure that each episode is labeled, both in the sequence and with the pithy names that I come up with. Number 2, I'm going to make it my mission to find out how to do some intro music, because I'm fairly certain that people like that stuff because everybody else uses it. And number 3, I'm also going to do probably some sampling of other things that I listen to. And I've started the transition from listening to as many different podcasts as I used to kind of focusing on things that would motivate me or inspire me to talk about things similar or related to, but try and narrow it down to Collin County. So that's it as far as announcements goes going forward. And as always, like or share the episodes as they come out. That is apparently supposed to be very helpful when they shadow ban you. Also, being that this is episode 100, and I purposely delayed it to put it out on July 31st for 2 reasons. One, I had a surprise go out with my lovely wife last night, so that kind of encroached on the time that I had previously thought I could have set aside. And number 2, July 31st is actually the end of the month, and that month is quite important in my life, because at the beginning of the month I have my father-in-law's birthday, my first daughter's birthday, which just happens to coincide with the birthday of the birth of the Republic, as well as an anniversary. And this particular year would be 28 years with my lovely bride. So I'm going to take just a few moments for each of those 4 items and expound on how grateful and blessed I am to have those things in my life. And then I will probably wrap it up. So here we go. The beginning of January. So I've got my father-in-law's birthday there. And I got to tell you, it's hard to express how grateful I am to the guy that entered our lives after I had already married my wife. And that's not exactly true. I believe his first date with my mother-in-law was actually the wedding of her daughter to me. And he has been there the whole time. And he's been through a lot of interesting things. He went from being a bachelor to a father of 2 daughters and a father-in-law to 1 son-in-law. And within about a year and a half, he had his first grandchild. That's a lot to take on for anybody, but my father-in-law handled it in stride. And I'm going to purposely not mention his name out of respect for his privacy. Anybody that knows the family knows exactly who I'm speaking of. So I think that will be suitable for the purposes of this. And he has been generous to a fault with people, both family and unfamily. And by a fault, by meaning that sometimes he has the default of a yes before considering all the implications. And to be honest, I have the same fault. A lot of good men I know, their first instinctive response is to say yes and then figure out a way to make it happen after the fact. So while that might be a fault, that's one I can certainly live with, and I think we would be very blessed that most people are willing to live with that fault, if you will. So I say that because that was the first event of this month. The next event would be the corresponding birthdays of the Republic and my first daughter. Now, the Republic, for which it stands, right? Has it been standing much lately? No. We're gonna avoid all negativeness. Let's just say that I was grateful to be able to serve when I did. I was, well, you know what? Got a loud dog. I'll be right back. So the Republic, if you will, is still with us, and I care deeply for my country, and that's part of what motivates me to do this. As many times a week as I can make happen, and it's that concern and the love for country and the seriousness of the oath that I took that underlays this. That again corresponds with the birthday of my first daughter. Now, at some point, I could go on about my second daughter, but being that we're talking about the month of July and kind of the things that go on in this month, so daughter number one was quasi-planned for birth on the 4th of July, and I've always been super enthusiastic about that, my firecracker baby, and now that she's off on her own, doing her own thing, I look forward to see what things come about from that. As a father, you have to take the good with the bad, and sometimes some of that bad comes from you. So we'll just leave that one alone and just say that that's one of those things that happens in the month of July. And normally that's a good month to go on vacation. And this month month of July, we certainly did go on a nice vacation with daughter number 2. Had a good time. And that brings me to the last thing. The corresponding day of today, that would be the anniversary of myself and my lovely bride. I've often been told that I robbed the cradle, but I think my wife acted like an adult since she was about 14. So when she got married at 18, she was long past being a young lady in the cradle. She has been with me through lots of crazy, lots of challenges, and she is a awesome partner, and I am blessed immensely that the Lord set her aside for me, and sometimes I marvel at how lucky I got, and how blessed I am with her. And I'm not an overly emotional guy on the outside. I usually let those things eat me up on the inside. So it's a little bit of a challenge just how much I can say without opening up that spigot. But suffice to say that we're going to go out and have a nice anniversary dinner that my wife planned all on her own. And she's going to be surprising me. So I'm quite enthusiastic about that possibility. And I want to enjoy and revel in the fact that I got 28 years down, and I'm looking forward to at least another 28, and that my wife does more than just tolerate my political machinations and my podcast. She's very supportive and very tolerant of noise from me. We work together in partnership, and I wish and pray that every man in this country would be as blessed as I am. So that is the episode, I think, as far as the gratefulness and the importance of today, July 31st. I guess a couple more things ought to be said because I'm just now closing in on 10 minutes and I should make it worth your time to listen to the episode. So the last episode I did, 99, I prefaced by saying we can't get a straight answer. And while I don't want to go on the full rant that I normally can do for about 30 minutes, let me just say that this is a golden opportunity for somebody that actually cares about liberty, for somebody that actually is going to defend individual rights to step up and make a difference. I'd like to think that I'm that person and I do my part, but there are other people that are far further along in their careers, far further up the food chain in success, those that are financially able to do whatever they want. And I would encourage you, step out. Take advantage of this situation. We cannot let liberty die in some little whimpering mess that is what it looks like we're going to do. Somebody has to stand strong. Somebody has to come out from the woodwork and get off their butt. Somebody has got to inspire and motivate people to do things. Now, I know there's a lot of people that thought we got that out of the Donald, and he did do a lot of good things. He wasn't great at everything, but he did a lot of good things. The sad thing is there are still a large part of our population that are waiting for the return of our king, right? And when I say that, I'm referring to Donald, not our Heavenly Father, the King of all kings. They think that by getting the Donald back in office, that all things will be corrected. They honestly believe whatever their plan was or is still going to save us all. And that's a false messiah. We can make a much bigger difference, a bigger impact by just being involved locally where we live and what we do and how we interact every day. Hey, if it comes out that they can prove the fraud, great. If it comes out that Uncle Joe, Sleepy Creepy Joe, needs to actually be in prison, great. If they find it in their hearts to deport Kamala Harris, great. All these things would be great, but the likelihood of them ever happening are slim to none. In fact, I would put the odds greater that I would be deplatformed and destroyed before any of that would actually happen. But we will wait and see. My life's not dependent on this podcast. My life's not dependent on, honestly, anything of this world. I rest easy that when my time is over, I know where I get to go and who I get to see, because I know who I really serve. And for right now, I'm here and I'm doing my best to serve you all out there in the interwebs. So I encourage you, going forward, let's take our country back, starting with Texas, starting with the great Republic of Texas, starting in Collin County where I live, starting in the city of McKinney where I live. One step forward, one foot in front of the other. We can make a difference. We should make a difference. We need to be engaged. And that, my friends, is how I'm going to end episode 100. And I will see you on the other side next week. Thank you, good night, and God bless Texas.